Ladies and gentlemen, this is Nightcrawler, and unfortunately when I wanted to do a video kind of screenshotting Nightcrawler's power level now, I basically realized that the theme of this video can't just be like the other regular videos where I talk about the character's strengths and weaknesses. I mean, I'm still going to do those things and gameplay and such, but there really is one very particular word that we need to use to describe Nightcrawler, at least right now, before he gets whatever tweaks he'll be getting, assuming that the leak for his uniform that has lined up with the Deadpool uniform, Wolverine uniform, and Juggernaut Sabretooth Warpath is actually coming in like 48 hours. So assuming all of that is true, I think the word to describe Nightcrawler's character right now and the design and the acquisition of the character and everything is bullshit. I think it's really just bullshit. I think, honestly, Nightcrawler is one of the worst. Tell him, Bacon. Nightcrawler is one of the worst designed characters in Marvel Future Fight for multiple reasons. And so I'll break down what makes the character so nonsensical. He's like hot ice or like cold fire. It really just doesn't make any sense at all. And we'll start off with the acquisition. Nightcrawler can't be acquired through any traditional means of farming using energy or using any other resources other than your antimatter and then going into the processor and getting their biometrics through the X gene processor. Now that means that the rarity of this character is in line with not only the ultimates, okay, he's actually rarer than the ultimates because the ultimates have those packs that come out in sales. But he's also as rare as X-23. Now, if you guys remember, X-23 was not that good before she got a uniform, but we'll get to the comparison of X-23 versus Nightcrawler soon. So he can only be obtained through the X-Gene processor. Alternatively, you can also obtain him through X-Gene selectors, which you have to spend real money to get. There's no way to get X-Gene selectors for crystals. There's no way to get them in any other game mode. The only way to get them is to spend hard cash. But at the same time, you can use those to unlock other characters that may possibly be better, like X-23. But right now, he's the only other good character or sort of rare character out of the X-Gene selector. All these other characters, farmable, 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 farmable. So it's weird. Given his rarity, and given the exclusivity of the character versus how you get those things, you would imagine that his power level would be at least decent, but it's really not. He's garbage. He's really, really garbage. And these stats that you're seeing are with Beast's 50% leadership and Wasp. We've got 25,000 physical attack, 27,000 energy HP. We've got the CTP of Patience. I didn't joke around with this build. I'm top 800. I've got, all 4-star Uru, which is not that impressive. But it's still good enough for top 800. We've got 3 and 6 on most of the skills. We've got some type enhancement for PvP. We've got a stage 6 Power of Angry Hulk. It's by no means a bad build, but he just doesn't get anywhere because he has nowhere to go. It's a car with no wheels. So it's incredibly hard to get this character, to actually build him up. But on top of that, the way that the character's been designed is actually counterintuitive to the character's design. And like I told you guys before, hot ice, remember that. So take a look, for example, at his passive, Out of Thin Air. It gives him 25% guaranteed dodge. So that means that he's going to be able to dodge things more easily than other characters, and he's going to force the enemy to miss. Okay, sure. We look at Into the Passive Shadow. Also 20% dodge. Nice, there's some synergy. And then look at this. When activation wait when you dodge, so whenever he dodges, it activates automatically and he gets a buff for 10 seconds with a 10-second cooldown. That's great, and the buff is shown with this kind of red aura that kind of shows off from his body, so that's really great. So he can almost have a static 15% all attack bump with a 1% all speed and all defense for 10 seconds. That seems really good, right? Until you think about his skills, until you go into the skill preview, or until you actually play him in different game modes and you realize something. I just paused there, not only for effect, but for those of you that are thinking, well, what is it, Alex? It's not tier 2 my foot. All of his skills have iframes. Guys, think about this. Making a character who gets a buff when he dodges, and then giving that character 5 out of 5 iframes, so they are never actually getting hit, so they are never actually dodging. What is the point of that? It's completely moronic. So it's something that just really is really telling that the character was not designed well. It's very bizarre. I'm not sure what the idea was behind that, because it just doesn't serve any purpose whatsoever. And, you know, yes, the Into the Shadow passive does trigger. Don't get me wrong, it still does trigger because you're going to eventually get out of iframes, or you'll get kicked out of an iframe by a particular phase of the game, or the enemy will iframe, which forces you to come out of iframe, or there will be some sort of residual attack that tries to hit you in between iframes when there's a small gap, and then that can trigger if you dodge. So there's definitely options, and there's definitely times when this does trigger. I'm not saying it never triggers, but what I'm saying is it totally, they're working against each other. These are counterintuitive measures that really don't do anything for the character. Bacon, I need you to calm down, okay? He's really upset, so he's biting his own tail. So it's really kind of strange, and it really just continues to tell me, the warning bells are running off in my head, that this character just was not designed well. So I really hope that they take extra special care for my dude Kurt, and they take they notice, and then they really try to rebuild this character basically from the ground up, because he needs a complete rework. Not only do his skills need to be buffed in terms of damage, in terms of different effects, he has literally no meta effects. He's got no healing, no penetration, no iframe ignore, no invincibility, immunity, guard hit. He's got nothing. Not only does he have none of that, but also his kind of signature ability, which is Into the Shadow, completely conflicts with a character that has 5 out of 5 iframes. And the iframes are actually worse once you consider, in addition, that every one of these skills summons clones. And this is kind of the stupidity of it all. Now we're going to go ahead with this team. The good thing about Nightcrawler, and the thing that holds some potential for him, is he has the leadership passive. So that means he takes advantage of White Fox's buff. So right now he's going to be rocking over 100% increased damage against villains. He got 55 from him, or 60 from him, or no, 55. And 60 from her, which is bananas. He's got super armor, and he's got 50% all attack, so he's got, you know, 25,000 physical attack rocking, and we're going to give him 5 physical attack strikers. Again, we don't want to give him too many physical attack strikers, or too many OP strikers, because we don't want to skew the numbers, and some of these strikers just deal insane damage, like Deadpool. So we do want to illustrate Kurt Wagner's power on his own. I mean, it's nothing compared to the new X-23. It's nothing compared to most speed characters right now. But the problem is just, what exactly am I doing? Can you tell me? I don't know. I don't know what's going on the screen. I got snared there. I don't really know what's going on the screen because I can't tell, because he's just iframing it. So I don't see Nightcrawler. I see a red X. That's the gameplay that is being given to me. It's the red X gameplay. Now, I would suggest, if you do want to play with him, and I don't know if you find this interesting, if you find this fun, but this is probably your best rotation to go ahead with. 4 into 5. How did I get snared? 4 into 5, and then 2. And you see those damage numbers that are popping up. It scares you because you think you're taking damage, but no, it's actually the little clones that are taking damage and being killed and then resummoned. But this is another thing, and it's fine that he died. This is another thing that conflicts with the character's design. Because Nightcrawler is constantly in iframe, you don't expect to see damage numbers from the enemy. But because of all of those stupid clones, because of those stupid little mini Nightcrawlers, you do see a bunch of damage numbers, which is incredibly misleading. And so while you're playing, you're thinking, am I taking damage? And you keep glancing over at your health bar over here because you're confused, because you're seeing those red damage numbers, but it's not you, it's the clones constantly taking damage. So again, really conflicting character designs. Giving a character 5 iframes, which is supposed to protect them from damage, and then creating little clones that not only give the enemy something to target, but also give you the wrong sort of false positive feedback that you're getting hit when you're not getting hit. So a really simple way to fix this is to just make the clones have 0 HP and make them non-targetable by the enemy. So that way Proxima would just stand there while I go through my iframes. There's plenty of characters that have non-targetable clones, most notably Loki. Sister Grimm has the same thing. And, you know, Nightcrawler is going to be an iframe anyways. So it doesn't matter if the clones are taking aggro or not. If the clones would take aggro and then maybe run around to kind of distract the enemy, that's fine. But the clones just pile up around you and beside you, which basically means that she's attacking in your direction anyways, and when you pop in and out of iframes, if there's any lag, if there's any extra frames, you're going to take extra damage. So there's so many backwards, conflicting kind of game design principles being utilized in incredibly stupid ways to kind of negate any of the fun and any of the value that Nightcrawler could have. Now, we're going to take him into some PvP as well because I want to illustrate this. It's rough, don't get me wrong, but maybe he has some PvP potential with 5 iframes. And I had to go pretty far down the list to find someone that didn't have Captain Marvel. If you guys don't know, if you're living under a rock, Captain Marvel has iframe ignore now. So you do not want to put any sort of iframe heavy character like Nightcrawler, especially one as squishy as Nightcrawler. He dies in like 2 hits against someone that has iframe ignore. So we're going to try him off against this team. Just be forewarned, I did not have a good time with this when I was trying it, so I don't think I'm going to have a good time now. But this is probably one of the best. Actually, you know what? It would be better if I put Nick Fury here instead of Beast. I just realized that because of the first enemy being Doctor Doom, this is actually going to be a better team. We don't get the guaranteed crit, and we don't get the guaranteed recovery rate, but that's okay, or not guaranteed recovery rate, just whatever, the recovery rate. We don't get those, but that's okay. We can't pass Beast's buff because the cooldown on it is like 13 seconds or 15 seconds, but we can just watch Nick Fury die, holy shit, and then move on into Kurt Wagner. Now, the good thing here is, you know, you got a lot of iframes, character just stands around, but then he gets interrupted, and then he dies. And am I even gonna get, nope, didn't even get to kill Doctor Doom. Let's try a different team. Okay, so I found someone else. Raphael does not have Captain Marvel. There is Doctor Strange, and he does have iframe ignore on his first skill, but we have the speed blast matchup advantage. So if we can somehow get through Thanos, which I find incredibly difficult to do, but maybe, I don't know, we should be able to possibly put some dent. Wow, and he just completely ignores my iframes and interrupts my skills midway to the point where, I mean, even though I'm guard breaking him, I can't, yeah, the guard break is not even consistent because I can't, there's even gaps in his skills in terms of the damage. You can see he just stops attacking suddenly. Oh. No. What a joke, dude. What a ridiculous joke. What you saw happen there was Thanos actually healed back up to full health because he hit one of my clones. So, yeah. He doesn't even have to hit me to regain that health from the Mad Titan passive. He can just hit one of the clones. And of course, Nick Fury kills him. Why wouldn't he? I mean, this, yeah. Come on. Nightcrawler. This has got to be a joke. I really don't want to give up, so I'm going to try this one more time. I have faith that maybe Nightcrawler can get at least 1 kill off here against one of these characters. If I can get one of his skills to land as well. Oh, no. Okay, that's okay. We just need to not, he can't, oh my god, dude, why are you, if he can land the fear, oh my god, he gets interrupted so easily in my clones. Dude, the clones are like helping Thanos hit me. There's stuns on some of his skills, right? There are stuns, aren't there? You'd think there were stuns. I just need the end of the 5th skill because it's got fear at the end. There we go. Okay, now Doctor Strange is next. We got this. We got the fear. Yes. 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 No. Okay. Well, that was about as good as it gets. Manually playing as Nightcrawler, and you can see it's a nightmare. It's seriously a nightmare, and it's seriously bullshit. Now, finally, the comparison to X-23. X-23 was not a very good character when she first came out. I can attest to that. I wanted her to be the mini Wolverine, and she really wasn't. But she still had her signature ability, which was the healing factor, with or without the uniform. And by the way, the uniform did a lot for the character. 25% increased physical attack, which is insane because it stacks, so it's a 50% increase. Plus 20% dodge, plus debuff effects, which are all defense down in her bleed. But even with her base kit, she still had the healing factor. She still had guaranteed crit rate. She still had crit damage. She still had so many things going for her, extra buffs, so many different effects that made her like a mini Wolverine. And she had the same sort of acquisition as Nightcrawler. Actually, she was easier to get than Nightcrawler because she had an event battle associated with her coming to the game, when you could get biometrics for her at the beginning, whereas Nightcrawler never had that. So honestly, I don't say this very often, but this is a very poorly designed character. It's a very poorly designed and very poorly executed character, because even when they introduced him to the game, he just doesn't make any sense. He doesn't fit anywhere in the game. He doesn't do anything in the game. He's not good at any game mode, and then he's just incredibly rare. It's almost like a pit trap for newer players who just don't know any better, and they think, oh, Nightcrawler's rare, he must be good. No, he's complete trash. So I'm actually quite disappointed the more that I think about it. Netmarble doesn't usually make characters this bad, and when they do, they're usually free to play, like America Chavez. So I really hope that they get his uniform right. We don't have a lot of time before we find out, but let me know what you guys think of Nightcrawler and of the upcoming update. Hit me up on Twitch, subscribe if you enjoy the content, and of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.